What's up, guys, and welcome back to a new video on my YouTube channel. Today with a quick update on the current market, especially on Bitcoin, because I've seen many people who now say, hey, look, Bitcoin is about to dump massively, we're about to go way lower, and I'm not of that opinion yet, okay? And I'll explain to you why. So, first of all, what we see Bitcoin doing on the 12-hour liquidation map is it wants to, liquidate all the people, okay? This liquidation map, if you don't know it yet, it basically says, okay, as you might know, there are long traders and there are short traders, right? Short traders are the people who bet on falling prices, okay? They bet that Bitcoin or any coin is dumping, okay? And long traders are the people who bet on rising prices and they bet on it with leverage. So, for example, you put in $1,000, okay? You put in $1,000 here at, for example, 114,500. You go in with 100x leverage, okay, the highest leverage you can possibly have on Bitcoin. So your position size would be 100k, right? And your liquidation price would be 1% away of 114,500, which means probably somewhere around this level, okay? And that's how the liquidation area is built, actually, how it happens. So market maker try always to take the liquidity out, right? So they bet against them. Basically, they bet on the short side, they bet against them. They make good money. Bitcoin dumps. And when it dumps, they can go on higher leverage, for example, on the long trade again, because they know now we'll pump this thing. And, if you believe in market maker or not, that's up to you. Just look at the liquidation heat map and we see, okay, 114,100. There's a huge liquidation, right, within the next 12-hour time frame. If we expand the time frame a little bit on a weekly, right, we can see clearly that all this huge liquidation here, the people who went long on this market, right, on Bitcoin, they got liquidated. There's almost nothing left down here, okay, almost nothing left. But what we see is there's huge people, a big amount of people who bet against Bitcoin. And that's, a good sign for the market to see a return, see how do you say? Yeah, a reversal, so that all these short traders get liquidated at the end, in the end, and Bitcoin might pump then to all-time highs. So that's my first argument based on the liquidation heat map, because I really like this pattern. We can also go to to other brokers, exchanges, and we see, for example, here's massive liquidation at 4,000. Oh, this is Ethereum. Wait. Bitcoin, for example, on Gates. Gate is always, there's always a lot. You'll see at 116,000, most of the people got liquidated, and now there's barely somebody betting. Maybe 114,000 area, okay, but most of the liquidity is above 118k. See this? Millions, hundreds of millions of people who might get liquidated pretty soon. So that's my take on the liquidation heat map. Okay, a pretty decent and good indicator I like to use in combination with other main indicators. Okay, so the second indicator I want to show you is the Fibonacci extension. All right, the Fibonacci extension. From the bottom, we hit in August, the 3rd of August, till the top, we hit at the on the 14th of August. Okay, and now we see the exact Fibonacci retracement on the 0.78 Fibonacci level, right? We just hit this level right now, and it might happen that we expand this level a little bit, maybe to the level of 113,500. This depends a little bit also on the liquidation heat map I showed you before. If there's building up shortly, a lot of people who now bet on, alongside on rising prices, then we might come a little bit lower to liquidate them as well, and then we pump, So That's the range where I'm looking for Bitcoin to reverse, okay? That's the range really where I'm looking for Bitcoin to reverse if we come lower to the level and we, might break this level. Guys, the thing is, I told you, I will be out of my trades for sure because of too much uncertainty. But we see at 109K level, okay? At the 109K level, we see huge support, 108, 109K. We see huge support here, right? That's the first all-time high we hit this year. Last year, basically, This year we hit it here as well. So this is a massive, massive support level, but I don't want to, be in this trade all the way down here to then, when we pump back up, I'll be equal on 113K level. That's what I don't like to do. I already closed my Bitcoin long just because on my risky account, right? Because I want to make sure that my ton trade is not getting liquidated because this thing has a huge upside potential. So therefore, I like to give Bitcoin the last chance basically for this trade, for this moment, for this 1, 2, 3 days, upcoming days, okay? Probably the next 2 days maybe until Wednesday. So, we might hit here a bottom, get back up, double bottom, and then we pump. Okay, that's the scenario I'm looking for right now. Okay, in combination with the Fibonacci extension, right? The third argument I want to show you is actually a very strong one, and this is the USDT dominance plus USDC dominance. So basically all the stable coins. Okay, all the stable coins. This rises when people are afraid. When people are afraid, this thing goes up because more people sell their crypto, their more risky assets, and buy stable coins, USDT, USDC, the US dollar. And what did we see 2 times? Okay, the last 2 times. From the April, the 7th April, the Black Monday we saw in April, and the 22nd of June we saw, right? And this is what we saw, the 22nd of June, because of the Iran-Israel conflict, right? Remember that, guys. Iran-Israel conflict. So we draw a trend line here, and we're about to hit this trend line, okay? And that's another reason why I believe we might come a little lower. That makes totally sense with the Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin to 113.5 to 114,000. And we might rise a little bit with the stable coin dominance, right? And after that, we might see another dump. Okay, that's what I'm really looking for right now. And that's why I like to give Bitcoin another chance on this trade. I don't want to, be too bearish right now, because when a lot of people are bearish, you should be bullish. And I see a lot of people are being bearish. They say, oh, that's it. The movement is over. We saw everything. That's it. But I like to give it one more chance. I like to be patient in this case and wait for the USDT, USDC dominance to hit resistance. And if it breaks through, 6.4% level, then we might reconsider it and say, hey, look, my thesis is wrong. I'm wrong in this case. I might be wrong, and we need to look at other factors, that support the thesis that I'm wrong, right? And for example, a breakout to this resistance is one of them. So that's basically my take on that. We might, it makes so much sense. We might rise another 1% in the dominance, which brings Bitcoin to, a little lower, right? Somewhere around here, 13,500, as I told you. And I really like this pattern, guys. I really do like this pattern, to see dominance hitting resistance and coming lower to 4.3%, 5.3% or lower, to come to this level where we saw the last rallies happening, the last tops happening, before we then at the end of the year, as I'm telling, since years, actually, since 1+ year on my Twitter account, at end of this year, beginning of next year, we'll see the ultimate top in altcoins especially, okay? So that's my third point on this topic. And now coming to my fourth point, which a lot of people might not agree with, but I really like it. Okay, I really do like it, and let me check it, okay? You can just go on X, okay? And go on Trump. I mean, you guys probably saw it, you know, Trump. Do we have some news here? Just want to show you the news. Okay. So basically, you know, we saw, we know that Trump today's Monday, right? The 18th of August. Today, Trump will meet with President Zelensky, okay? And you now might think that, okay, all these people who are selling know that there's something going on and they might not make a trade. Okay, but I view it a little bit differently, okay? Because I saw it many times and I've been into these trades, into the trading more than a year now. And when I look at it, I often see that right before these events happen, we see the exact different, right? The exact different thing happening in the market. So what I'm trying to say is that we might now see a dump. You know, we might not see a dump. The people who know about, you know, trade is happening, it looks very good, will buy big in with high leverage, and then the news comes out and boom, we pump. Because right now there's no real reason to dump, right? If you just look at the arguments, if you look at the factors, I don't know, maybe people are afraid, you know, that's the only thing. People are afraid that there will be no trade deal or no war deal, actually ceasefire. But I like this point of view that most of the time I saw it 3 to 4 times the last 6 months, that right before, you know, a good news came out, we did the exact opposite, okay? So we can also see it here, you know, you can just see it right now here, okay? Right now here, no, let's take this chart right here, okay? So what did we see is, we can see clearly we pump massively, okay? We pump massively, and what happened after, right? We pumped. That's what happened. We pumped, and on Thursday, so 2 days ago, no, it's 4 days ago already. 4 days ago, yeah, at exactly here, okay, came out the news. Hey, the working market, like how do you say, the market for the people working is very bad, looks very bad, you know, we have some bad news coming up. The White House said they don't buy any Bitcoin, you know, they don't buy any Bitcoin, and that's what ultimately sent this shit lower, okay, based, if you look on facts, on news, okay. Before we pumped, everyone thought euphoria, boom, we dumped, right? And I'm a fan of seeing the exact same thing happening right now. We dump, and then all of a sudden, you know, from today, tomorrow on, we start pumping slowly, and then the news comes out and boom, we pump massively to new all-time highs, and that's what I'm looking for right now. So in that case, I like to give Bitcoin another chance, right? I don't like to leave it too early on this point, because, you know, this is a good resistance level, a good shakeout, you know, a good dump. All the people who are afraid will close their longs, you know, nobody will be in leverage, and boom, we'll pump. And that's, people, guys, that's where we want to buy in. So I'll be patiently waiting for the levels. And also what I see Ton doing is, you know, this resistance, this Fibonacci extension, the 0.618 level, okay, is very strong for Ton, very strong, you know. It's a very good level, and that's why I won't be loading up Bitcoin, because I think Ton will outperform Bitcoin. So once Bitcoin hits support, I will slowly start accumulating more Ton, probably, and so that I'm better positioned. And once this news comes out, boom, we'll pump through the roof on that case, because August is always has been a good month. It may be not like that this time, but there's no retail yet, you know. There's no retail yet. There hasn't been any euphoria yet from people who are not in the market, right? There's just the people who are always there were always there, right? That's how it was. You know, there were some whales accumulating Ethereum massively, buying Bitcoin. That's why we pumped basically. But there was no retail, you know, the attention is dead. Look at it, guys, look at it. I mean, it's not a, you know, it's not a secret that damn, you know, every day, step by step, every day, this social metric score, guys, is going lower and lower, and now we're at nothing. We're at nothing. You know, there's no person interested basically in crypto right now. While we're doing this work, while we are preparing for the moment of good news, moment of shining, moment of euphoria, we're preparing for it, guys, okay? And right now there's actually no social metric score. You know, you see this. And this is like 0.16%. Yesterday we had 1.2%. Now we have 0.16%. 0.16% of the maximum that can be in the market, right? For example, here, it's on the 14th of May in 2021, we saw the social metric score hit its all-time high, and that's where we want to sell. That's where we want to sell, right? So now we don't want to sell, actually, especially not for our spot bags, of course. Leverage bag is something different. Depends on how high leverage you're in. Because of my high leverage accounts, I need to rethink a little bit and use a different strategy. So that's why I sold my Bitcoin bag in order to provide enough liquidity for my ton trade, because ton will outperform Bitcoin massively, I believe. And you know, that should be it for today. Quick update on Bitcoin. My take, you know, nobody's here, nobody's actually there, and once the good news comes out, guys, I'm telling you, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe on Wednesday, this week, you know, this week is basically deciding if I don't know, you know, I don't want to even bring up the scenario of going to 93k, guys. Now, no, I don't see it. Honestly, I don't see it. Maybe the 110k, 108k range, yes, could be, but not not below that. Actually, that's my take so far. You know, the chance that we do exactly what I said are pretty high. You know, I think a lot of people underestimate it right now because they're afraid. Okay, fear is the most dangerous emotion you can have, as well as greed is, especially for trading. So that's why we'll be patient. We'll wait for our moments to buy in more, you know, to have a good entry. And once we hit this 113,113.5, I'll start loading up ton. Okay, I'll start loading up a ton of ton. And yeah, hopefully, you know, we see the Fibonacci extension at 3.25. That's where I want to go in with good gains. If we head lower, you know, I'll be out. Okay, I'll be out. I'll take the risk in this case because I like to give Bitcoin another chance, as I said. So thank you for listening, guys. I hope you could learn something, and here in the next one, take care, stay healthy, bye.